The showroom was buzzing that morning. Sleek cars lined up under shining lights, polished so perfectly that they mirrored the ceiling. Salesmen in crisp suits strutted confidently, their eyes scanning for potential customers who might be lured into buying a new vehicle with just the right smile and persuasion. Then, the heavy glass doors opened with a slow squeak. In walked a man wearing faded overalls and boots covered in dried mud. His shirt was so worn that the fabric near his elbow had thinned almost to transparency. A hat shaded his wrinkled, sunburnt face. It was Jacob Miller, the farmer everyone in town knew of, though not always for the kindest reasons. Whispers started almost immediately. As he lost, one man chuckled to his friend. Probably here to ask for directions, not to buy anything. Another snorted. Even a few salesmen smirked. One leaned to another and muttered, "Keep an eye on him. He might be here just to warm himself in the AC." The laughter grew louder. Jacob, however, kept walking. His eyes studied the cars, not the people. But what no one in that room knew was that this humble farmer had walked a journey so painful, so relentless, and so full of grit that his presence there was not by accident. It was destiny. To Jacob's roots, Jacob was born on a farm that had been in his family for 3 generations. His grandfather was a hard-working man, remembered for saying, "Son, a man's wealth isn't measured by what he wears, but by the crops he harvests and the kindness he leaves behind." Jacob's father lived by the same creed. The Miller family wasn't wealthy, but they had pride in their land and in the sweat that kept it alive. But tragedy struck when Jacob was just 16. His father collapsed in the fields one summer afternoon and never got up again. The heart attack was sudden, merciless, and devastating. His mother wept. His siblings, still children, looked to Jacob with frightened eyes. He had no choice but to step into his father's shoes. He quit school, sacrificing his own dreams to keep the farm alive. The days that followed were brutal. The sun baked his skin, debts loomed like storm clouds, and his hands blistered from dawn to dusk. One evening, his younger sister Sarah tugged at his sleeve. "Jacob," she whispered, "can I go on the school trip next week? Everyone's going to the city museum." Jacob's heart twisted. He looked down at her excited little face, then at the jar of coins on the kitchen counter. That money was meant for seeds. "I'm sorry, Sarah," he said softly. "Not this time." Her eyes welled up with tears. "Why can't we ever have nice things like the others?" Jacob hugged her tightly. "Because one day we'll have better things. Just trust me, okay?" The mockery. As the years passed, Jacob became a fixture at the town market. He'd drive in with his old truck loaded with vegetables. His clothes were always patched. His boots looked older than some of the customers who mocked him. "Hey, Jacob," one rich landowner called out once, smirking in front of a group. "Why don't you get yourself some decent clothes? You're scaring away customers with those rags." Jacob smiled faintly. "Clothes don't grow food," he replied. But the laughter followed him home that night, echoing in his head. To the drought, nothing tested him more than the drought. 2 years without proper rain turned his fertile land into dust. His crops shriveled, his debts grew. At night, Jacob sat on the porch, staring at the barren fields. One evening, his brother Michael confronted him. "Jacob, it's over," Michael said, his voice sharp. "We can't keep living like this. Sell the farm? Get out while you can." Jacob clenched his jaw. "No, this land is our father's, our grandfather's. I won't be the one to let it go." Michael shook his head and walked away. Sarah cried silently in the kitchen, afraid they'd lose everything. Jacob didn't cry. He couldn't. He simply worked harder, selling old tools, renting out their farmhouse, even sleeping in the barn some nights. A spark of hope. It was during these dark days that Jacob heard about a barren piece of land for sale. Cheap, rocky, and unwanted. People laughed at the thought of anyone farming it. But Jacob saw something others didn't. "This land just needs someone to believe in it," he murmured to himself. He scraped together every last penny, sold his cattle, and bought the land. Neighbors shook their heads. "He's gone mad," they whispered. But Jacob worked relentlessly. He cleared rocks, dug irrigation trenches, studied farming books by lantern light. Slowly, green shoots pushed through the soil. By year 3, he had vegetables so fresh and abundant that restaurants across the county wanted them. His gamble paid off. The barren land became an empire. Back to the showroom years later, Jacob stood in that dealership, the echoes of past mockery all around him. A salesman approached, his smile dripping with condescension. "Sir, He said, "These cars are quite expensive. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable with something second-hand." The others chuckled. Jacob looked him straight in the eyes. "Call your manager," he said calmly. "Tell him Jacob Miller is here to buy." The salesman frowned, confused. "Buy what?" Jacob's lips curved into the faintest smile. "The dealership." The revelation word spread fast. Within months, Jacob finalized the deal. On the day he returned to sign the papers, the same salesman who had mocked him stood stiff, eyes lowered. Jacob walked past them silently and took the manager's hand. "I'll run this place differently," Jacob said. "Here, no one will be judged by their clothes. Every man and woman who walks through these doors will be treated with respect." Then he turned to the salesman. "Remember this, you laughed at me when I had nothing. But today I'm the one signing your paychecks. Never mock another man. You don't know what seeds he's planting." The room was silent. Shame hung in the air. To a legacy of kindness, Jacob never let success change him. He funded scholarships for poor children, built food banks for struggling families, and drove his old truck around town as a reminder of where he came from. When asked why, he always said the same thing: because clothes wear out. Cars rust, but kindness lasts forever. My message to viewers, friends, Jacob's story teaches us something powerful. Never judge a book by its cover, and never underestimate the quiet fighter. The man you mock today may be the one who owns everything tomorrow. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been underestimated or mocked for your appearance? I'd love to hear your experiences. And remember, subscribe to my channel, Be Kind Always, for more inspiring stories like this one. Because in a world that can be cruel, kindness is the one thing that never goes out of style.